What's going on, everybody? We are back here at the Fryar Place where, as you saw, the conversations are fire. We got a great guest tonight. But before we do that, we're going to give you all a little opportunity to come on in the room. I see there's one or two of you who have been sitting and waiting for the notification. Notification went off and we are live. So please acknowledge yourself so I know who is in the house. Again, as always, if you have any questions for our guest tonight, throw up a Q. Capital Q, semicolon, and then write your question so we can be identified, or it will catch my eye and we can ask our guest tonight. Very interesting guest. You probably don't know who she is, but before we do that, we got to pay some bills, y'all. So check this out.
Are you planning a special trip or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there. And we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
Because this is some of greatness, and this is what we do.
All right, we are back, and I see a bunch of you in the house, but you have not acknowledged yourself. Say hi, say boo, say something. Who is in the house? Who's logged in right now? Who's watching right now? I see a bunch of numbers. At least my count is saying there's a bunch of you, but I can't see who you are. So say, acknowledge yourself. I see one of you typing right now. Listen, my guest tonight at the Fryar Place is a friend, or I should say actually a daughter of my spiritual father, a spiritual daughter of my spiritual father in Plano, Texas. I've been in her acquaintance, have known her from a distance for many, many years. Hey, what's going on, Hope? Hope is in the house. And she's here. She's a recent author of a book entitled The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. Wow. It's just the title in and of itself is crazy. So listen, y'all. Put your hands together. I want to bring in to the room, to the Fryar Place, my sister, Angel Gaddis. She's in the house. Y'all, come on, give her a hand clap. Where you at? Where you at? Give her a hand clap. Okay, here we go. There you go. Hand clap. There it is. What's going on, Angel?
Hey, Irving. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be on the Fryar Place.
Yes.
So thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. I know this conversation is going to be hot. It's going to be fire. I saw on social media. James Hall, what's going on, Jimmy Halls? He's in the house. We got some folk watching right now. That's cool. I saw on social media that you released your new book, The Innocence. This is a crazy title, The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. I'm like, wow, I got twisted. Keenan, what's going on? We got a bunch of folk watching. That's good. That's awesome. You're on Amazon right now with your book. Listen, just want to talk about your book, want to talk about your life a little bit. Obviously, that's what the book is about. But before we get into that, you know, you're a young woman. You got a couple of girls. I mean, you dedicated the book to your daughters. Talk about that a little bit. You know, what it's like being a single mom. And you're young. You know, it's not like you're an old lady. You're a young woman, and you got two daughters. You're a single mother. What is that like today in today's world? And what is it that you're trying to, in terms of your daughters, what kind of environment, what kind of atmosphere, what kind of boundaries are you trying to create for them? And how's that going for you? It's crazy because it's not like it used to be. We live in a crazy world now, and our young people, I think it's the generation after you, our young people really don't respond to the authority of parents, to grandparents, just authority, period. They don't respond the same way we did when we were growing up. So it's causing problems, not just in the home, but it's causing problems in the communities. It's causing problems in the schools. It's causing problems just in general because it's almost like they're defiant. And, you know, they got a lot of questions, which is, you know, justifiable. Okay, I understand. But at the same time, they walk around with an attitude of a mentality like they're entitled, and they're not necessarily entitled. So what is that like for you? How old are your daughters? What are their names? And what's it like for you as a single mom raising your daughters in today's world?
So my daughter's name is, my oldest daughter is Layla Busby. She is actually about to be 20 in July. She is a junior in college.
Okay.
And I also have Lasia Busby, who is 10, and she will
Ooh.
be in sixth grade next year. So initially, when I had my oldest daughter, because I was so broken, I asked God, why would you give me a girl? I'm broken. Why would you do that? I'm not in a place where I could give her the best, right? So throughout the years, of course, we all have our challenges. We all go through things with our children. But growing up for me was different because me and my mom's bond wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be. So in turns, I knew that I needed to break that cycle, and the things that I wanted from my mother, I gave to my daughters. So I'm real big about open communication. I don't care what it is. We also have an open door policy. Um, they balance me. Like, my oldest daughter, she went through a lot of things with me because I was 20 when I had her.
Okay.
So she pretty much grew up with me. And so she experienced a lot of the things that I went through, and some of which I'm not proud of. But she was my strength. She was the person that kept me going. She loved me no matter what. And that was the best feeling. It gave me hope. It kept me going. My oldest daughter is an introvert, so she's not the touchy-feely daughter. But my youngest, Lasia, is. She's an extrovert. She's just like me. She tells me she loves me every second she gets.
Ooh.
And
That's
so
good.
it's
No,
like
that's nice.
the
That's
best
nice.
feeling. Like, I just love it. And I love that how they love on me, and how it's like it's always been us three.
That's cool.
And even through the struggles or even through challenges in life, we always have each other's back. So the support is there. We go straight to the word. I've taught my kids about God. They know that we pray. We have open conversation together. So it's always been us three, and I love them so much. Like, they really saved my life.
Well, I want to circle back to something that you just briefly mentioned. Derek Wilson is in the house. Good to see you. Richard Melton is in the house. Shout out to you, Richard. Stuart Winrow is in the house. Stu, what's going on, brother? Y'all hang in there. Listen to this story today. We're scratching the surface right now, but this sister has a tremendous, magnificent, marvelous, majestic story that she's going to tell here in a little while. But you said something, I just want to encourage you real quick, something that I don't know if it slipped out or you just briefly went by it, but you said something about, you've done some things that you're not proud of. Well, guess what? I've done some things that I'm not proud of too. And, every now and then, whether it's me, because we do have a memory, God has created us with a memory. So it might be me at times, my flesh, or it may be Satan bringing those things up to remind me of sometimes I'll be sitting, and if somebody would ask me, I'll start shaking my head like, dang, because I'm thinking about what in the world was I doing back then? That was absolutely ludicrous. I could have been, wow. And I sit and shake my head sometimes because I'm remembering some of the things that I used to do. And I won't tell you what they are. I'm not going to tell anybody, but that's twins, me and God. Just like your stuff, twins, you and God. You can expose or say what you want to say, or let us know about what you want to know about. Bring light to whatever it is you choose to bring light to. But some of that stuff, I'm not telling anybody. I'm telling you, I'm not telling anybody. Matter of fact, if you knew some of the stuff I did in my past, you wouldn't be on my show right now because you wouldn't want to get that close to me. So just, for anybody who's watching right now, if you say, I heard a preacher say it today at the it was the Good Friday service. He said, if you say that you have no sin in your life, you've never sinned, then lying is your problem. Then lying is your problem.
That's a good one.
Yeah, lying
Correct.
is your problem. Yeah. So we all got issues. We all done crazy stuff because it takes us a while to grow up. It takes us a while for the learning and the teaching and the maturing to take place. So you've been in healthcare. I'm trying to paint a picture, trying to build a foundation before we get into these chapters in your book. But you've been a healthcare provider for about 10 years now. So is that a gift that you have, or is that something that just came your way, or is that something that you literally pursued?
I do believe it's a gift. It's also something I pursued because I always, like growing up, I always wanted to take care of people. I got such a joy out of it, and especially elderly. And so I got into healthcare. I do patient care. I do GI. So I do colon and EGDs. And I've also been on the floor where I've taken care of patients in trauma, burn, CCU,
Wow.
ICU. So I've had my fair share. And I love it because sometimes you have those patients who don't have anybody. And so it feels good to be there for them. It feels good to start their journey with them as well as end it. Some come in very scared. I've been on a cancer unit, and God has given me a gift to care for people genuinely. So I use that gift and I love it. Like getting up every day knowing I'm going to take care of my patients is an amazing feeling to me. Like it makes my day. So I definitely will continue to do that. And I definitely have a project that I want to do where I will work with patients that are transitioning. And I will help families to create memories for their loved ones who are transitioning.
Nice.
And be there for them because all of us have to work in this day and age. You have to work.
Right.
So you want to entrust your loved ones with somebody that genuinely cares. And so I want to be that person.
Nice.
To take care of your loved ones and to make sure I create memories for you to have during your grieving process.
That's that's a truth, a harsh truth, in that you've experienced in your vocation people who come in and who are going through a bad time, physically, some probably, on the brink of death, and there's no one there, family, friends, loved ones. There's no one there to be there with them in their time of need. And you're able to fill that void, even though you're a total stranger. But I hear people all the time talking about what folk won't do for them. Nobody cares. And I say this to them. Somebody will say, nobody cares for me. And I ask them the question, well, who do you care for? Because it's reaping and sowing. What you sow, the seed you sow, that's what's going to grow. It's what you're going to get in return. It's the law of reciprocity. So nobody cares for me. Well, who do you care for? No one would be my friend. Well, who are you friendly to? Nobody. And this is one I use too. Nobody came to see me when I was in the hospital. Well, who do you go see when they're in the hospital? And they say, well, I don't know anybody in the hospital right now, but there's plenty of people in the hospital.
Right.
Just go see somebody. I'm sure they'd be reciprocal to you coming and praying for them, or just sitting there saying, hi. I don't know you, but I know you're in here and you don't have anybody. I just wanted to come and let the power of my presence minister to you. So that's a wonderful gift to have, because I don't have that gift. I don't have that gift. I'm gonna have to call Angel. so let's get into your book. The title. I want to talk about the title. The title of your book, y'all. Listen to this, y'all. And look, Stu Winrow. I grew up with Stu Winrow and his brother, Fat Cat Larry Winrow. And Stu says, shaking my head too about my stuff. He's like, I'm shaking. Stu, you know some of that stuff, Stu. I know some of your stuff too, Stu. So the title of your book, and listen, everybody, you can go to Amazon, and I suggest everyone who's watching right now, or who will watch this podcast at a later time, go to Amazon and search either Angel Gaddis, that's G-A, you see it right there on the screen, Gaddis, or put the title of the book in, which is entitled The Innocence of a Guilty Victim, which to me is like an oxymoron, or it's a paradox. It's like you got two opposites working. It's like not confusing, but it's really, really intriguing. So how did you come up with, I know it was God, but where did you get the title from? And what is that?
So I've always written poems. My poems, when I used to write, I put my pain in my poems. So I've always had a creative mind, and that is a gift. So I've had that title, and it literally just came to me for over 5 years, I know.
Wow.
And it's always stuck with me. I never knew how I was going to use it. I didn't know if it would be a movie, a book, a poem. I didn't know any of that. So when I initially started writing my book, the title fit, because I display all those characteristics. I'm innocent at one time, I'm guilty at another time, and I'm a victim.
Wow.
I've played victim. I've been a victim. So all of that shows who I am and what I've been through and what I've encountered on my journey.
Wow. So I was going to ask you, so what does it mean? But you just said what it means. It's your life and some of the seasons, or the different seasons in your life, where obviously innocence, I mean, when you look at it from God's perspective, the biblical perspective, we're all guilty. All right.
Right.
None of us are innocent, but there are situations that we may find ourselves in where we become, whether it's the victim or something negative happens, and we're really innocent of experiencing the consequences or the outcome of that situation, because we didn't reap that. It just happened to us.
Right.
We didn't sow it. We just reaped it. It just happened to us. So, or we can be in somebody else's boat, and because they're in the boat and the storm is meant for them, Job, the storm is meant for them,
right,
we end up in somebody else's storm. So yeah, that's some ways that we can be innocent. But and then guilty, we're all guilty, and then the victim, yep, it's the same kind of thing. So that's y'all, you can see the title of the book, that's the cover of the book. It's awesome. It's really nice. The
Thank you.
shattered glass. That's really creative. I don't know who came up with that. I'm gonna give you all the credit for it, but that's really
Thank
nice. It's
you.
really creative. Now you got 10 chapters in this book, and I know we got about half an hour before you got to go because you got some folk coming to the house that may get pretty loud, and we don't want that to happen. You got 10 chapters in this book. I'm going to tell everybody what the chapters are, and then we're going to talk, or I'm going to have you talk. I'm going to try to get through as many of these chapters. I circled 7 of them, or actually, yeah,
Okay.
7 of them. I circled 7 different chapters, but we'll try to get through as many of them as possible. You talk as long as you want. You explain or get as far into depth as you want to or you need to make your point. But first chapter is called Baby Girl. The second chapter is called Growing Up. The third chapter is called What Do You Know About Being a Mother? That's the first one we're going to talk about. The fourth chapter is The Addiction. The fifth chapter is The Good Guy. I want to hear what that one's about too. Sixth chapter is Overcoming Temptation. The seventh chapter, It's Broken. I want to hear that one too. Eighth chapter, Personal Relationship with God. Awesome. Chapter 9, God's Timing. And chapter 10, Mindfulness. Mindfulness. I want to hear about that too. So talk about chapter 3. Chapter 3 is entitled, What Do You Know About Being a Mother? Because I'm sure what you're getting ready to say is going to help some young ladies. I know this. I mean, you want to be, or you're aspiring to be, and you're starting now, a motivational
Yes.
speaker. So do your thing, motivational speaker.
So that chapter, and you asked the question earlier, as far as my relationship with my daughters and being in this society,
Mm-hmm.
being that it is different. So growing up, mm, as I stated before, my mother was emotionally unattached. And it was because she was not shown love,
Mm-hmm.
so she didn't know how to show it to me.
Mm-hmm.
That had always been a struggle for me because I wanted the love and I was so eager to get it because she hurt because she didn't get the love. So I wanted to ease her pain as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always tell her I loved her, wanted to spend time, you know, showing her who I am, wanting her to be proud of me,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't easy. And for that, I went I started seeking other things
Mm-hmm.
to fill the void.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so when I had my daughter, I didn't understand why God would do that to me. Like you would really want me to bring a daughter into this world.
Well, do you tell young ladies there's only one way to, well, there's a couple of ways, but there's only one way to have children. I mean, you can be artificially inseminated, but other than that, when you have sex, guess what's going to happen?
Well, that is correct. However, I was just thinking maybe it would be a boy.
Oh, okay. You were talking about, okay, I got you. You wanted a boy. Why
So
would you give me a girl?
I wanted
I
a
got you. You
boy
did say that earlier, yes.
because I felt like I was strong. I'm strong. My mom, raised
Okay.
me to be this strong, independent woman. So I think I
Uh-huh.
can handle a boy, but a girl, well, I'm too broken for this. Like I don't even have it together. So
Got you.
how can I give my baby everything she deserves?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what it looks like. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what any of that looks like. I don't know. I knew how to be a mother because I saw my mom raise me. But
Right.
to have a relationship with my daughter, to love on my daughter, to just everything, I didn't know what that looked like. So it was scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then, my daughter watched me go through an alcohol addiction,
Mm-hmm.
majority of her growing up. And that was one of the things that I seeked, trying to fill a void
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't get the love from my mom that I wanted. And my father was an addict, so he
Mm-hmm.
chose his addiction over me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had my daughter, I just knew that I did not want to be like them. Not that they weren't great people.
Mm-hmm.
Their idea of raising me was not the idea I had.
Okay.
And I saw my friends grow up with their families and their mothers and their fathers, and the love and the hugs and the kisses and the
Right.
you're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. I'm supporting you 100%. I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I have a daughter, I have to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that everything that I wanted, I had to give to her. And I had to work hard to give it to her. I wasn't going to stop. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to give up. I was going to make sure she knew I loved her every second. I was going to be involved in everything she did. I was going to tell her I was proud of her. I was going to be there 100%, 110%.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, she'll tell you, Mom, like, you're too overbearing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Too much.
Sometimes give me some space.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, it's a little bit easier because she likes that. She
Right.
loves the
Right.
attention of
Right.
me, and she loves the love. So they both balance me. So, initially I didn't know why God did it, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't for me to know. He knew what he was doing
What you
when he
needed.
did,
He knew what you needed.
so
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. And
Yes.
I'm blessed to have them as my children. I wouldn't choose any other children. I wouldn't choose it any other way.
So what is it? What is your message? Because I'm trying to set you up on this platform here to do what you do and do what you aspire to do and do what you're gifted to do, which is tell your story and helpfully bring revelation to females who have experienced some of the same things as you, and or will experience some of the same things as you. And there are probably many that have similar, not exactly the same, but similar stories with regards to their mothers or their parents. So what is it that, in your opinion, what is it that young females, particularly single mothers, need to know about being a mother, in your opinion? What is it they need to know about being a mother?
Meet your children where they're at. A lot of times,
That's good.
even with me growing up,
Mm-hmm.
it's, oh, I wouldn't have did that, or oh, that's not something you're supposed to do, or why would you do this like that, or that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter once told me, she said, Mom, I'm not you.
Mm.
I'm not you. And when she said that, it made sense. It was more of, so you are not me. So we can't look at our children and think that they operate like we do. They
Right.
don't operate like us. Every generation is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always met my children where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I've always done that. So, and it really works because they trust me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can trust my mom and what she's telling me, what she says, because I'm not belittling them. I'm not making them, you know, any less of mistake they maybe have made.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I have to understand where they're at, and I have to move at that pace, not above them, not below them. And that's just really big with me. I tell a lot of my friends, my daughter's teenage
Mm-hmm.
friends, parents, meet them where they're at. It's important. God
Yeah.
meets us where we're at.
Woo.
He doesn't, he doesn't,
There you go.
he doesn't back up. He doesn't say, "Oh, well, let me wait till you get here," or "Oh, no, I can't do this right now because you're not at the place you need to be." He doesn't do that to us.
No, he
He meets
doesn't.
us exactly where we're at, and we
Right.
go from there.
You're getting excited and you're trying to come through the phone. I need you to back up from the phone a little bit so I can see your whole. Yeah, there you go. Back away from the phone a little. There you go. Because you're getting. But we do that. I do the same thing. I start talking. I get excited. I start getting closer and closer to the stand. Back up.
My bad.
Back up so I can see the top of your
I
head. There
get
you go. Right there.
excited.
Stay there. No, back. There
Okay.
you go. Stay there.
Okay, I'm there.
So
Oh my goodness.
yes, it's all good. So talk about the addiction. I think many people, again, I've had issues with drugs. It wasn't alcohol, but I've had my issues with substance abuse. It wasn't necessarily. I always say my addiction wasn't a physical addiction, meaning you have people who, whether it's cocaine, heroin, alcohol, whatever it may be, if they stop doing it cold turkey, they physically get sick. It affects them physically if they don't do it. For me, my addiction wasn't like that. And I had a cocaine addiction, but it was more of an emotional. I used it to escape. 2 or 3 times a year, I'd go on a 2 or 3 day binge and just to get away, and usually took place. It usually was the trigger was usually some kind of trauma or drama or some type of intense situation in my family or in my marriage or something around me that was going on that would trigger it, and I just go off. But it would happen 2 or 3 times a year. So it wasn't for me a physical thing necessarily. It was an emotional, mental, psychological thing that I used to escape. But obviously, you still got to come back down, right back in the same situation and deal with it.
Exactly.
So talk to everybody about your addiction, about your struggle with alcohol, and how. I mean, we know it was the grace of God and the mercy of God, the power of God, because you're a God-fearing woman. But man, we still have to do our part. God can only we can limit God by our measure of faith in God. If we have the faith in God, then God will do it. But there are works that go along, actions that go along with our faith. I can't ask God to deliver me from alcohol, and I keep picking up the bottle. At some point, I got to put it down and do something else to keep me away from the bottle, keep me moving in the right direction. So talk about your struggle with alcohol and how difficult that was and how you actually got delivered.
So alcohol was half part of my addiction, and sex was my other addiction. So I struggled with both at one point. With the alcohol, I could probably drink a bottle by myself.
In one sitting?
Yes,
Wow.
because I just wanted to, it took me away, like you said. It takes you away for a little
Yep.
bit from that pain, that hurt, and anytime something would happen, I'm running to the bottle. I'm drinking,
Yep.
I'm drinking. My Layla, she would watch me. It wasn't until recent she said, I used to hide your keys when you would get drunk
Wow.
so that you wouldn't drive and die.
Your daughter did that.
Yes.
Wow.
And she was fairly young. She was younger. She was probably 5, 6. And I would drink and cry. I was an emotional drunk. So I would just drink.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm not laughing at you.
I would just drink and cry. Like literally just sit there and cry and
Wow.
put on sad music so I could feel sorry for myself.
I
There would
read
be
something.
times.
I read something in your bio that one of the first sentences in your bio says something about you always were the girl who felt sorry for herself.
Yes.
What
Always.
do you know why
Always.
now? You know why now? Do you know why? What that was all about?
Because I didn't get the love I think I deserved as a child.
Okay.
I didn't get that. I literally used to think, honestly, why am I here? What is my purpose here on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Why did my parents not abort me?
Mm.
I used to think that, like, and I'm not going to say that they were horrible parents because
Right.
my parents, I'm a beautiful person. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to say they're horrible at all.
Mm-hmm.
I love both of my parents. But what I saw in society, what parents were supposed to do, because I was raised in church,
Mm-hmm.
and Pastor Terry and
Mm-hmm.
Sister Terry,
Greater new
First
birth.
Lady.
Yep.
Yes. So that's what I was raised seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand why I couldn't get it. I was not a bad kid. I was a good kid. So why couldn't I have the love that I saw other kids get?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do so bad
Mm-hmm.
to deserve the treatment I got?
So, I
How
mean,
are
you
how are drugs more important than your daughter? How is it that I can show you love and I'm embracing you
mm-hmm.
with love and you can't still show it back? So that's drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Constant. A constant reminder growing up by family members. I would never be anything. I would have a lot of kids, different daddies. I would never get married. I believed that.
Mm-hmm.
It was said so much to I started believing it, so I was looking for approval
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. If I couldn't get it, I'm gonna get a drink. If I felt no love, I'm gonna get a drink. So I felt sorry for me because I'm not a bad person. Why do I have to be treated like this?
Right. Right. And I'm sure you're speaking to, again, or will be speaking, someone else, some others may watch this podcast after it actually airs today. And you're speaking to some young ladies out there who feeling the same way, who think, thinking to themselves, why was I born? Why am I even here? First of all, you're a miracle. All of us. I'm not talking to you. I am talking to you now, Angel, but you already know this. Had I seen you years ago when you were in the bottle and all that, I would have told you this. There, you are a miracle of human personality. Never to be repeated. Miracle of human personality. That's what you are. Never to, once in a lifetime, never to be repeated miracle of human personality. And you're special to God. And none of us really, I mean, we're young at times and we look for approval in other people, but none of us should look for our validation in people. We should look for our validation, and obviously over time you've learned this, our validation in God. And that's what we should be teaching our kids. That's what we should be teaching the young ones. I'm
Hmm.
sure you've done that. So how did you, I mean, what happened? Was there an epiphany? Did you almost have a near-death experience? For me, it was a near-death experience. That's why I stopped doing drugs, because I almost died. It scared the Jesus in me. I mean, Jesus wasn't in me. It scared the Jesus into me. So I stopped because I'm like, I tell you right now, I know if I would ever pick it up right now, I would die the first time I did it. I will never do that stuff ever again because I know if I picked it up and did it, I'll die. But that's what it took for me because I'm a knucklehead. I'm stupid. But God takes care of babies and fools. So what exactly happened? Was it an incident or was it just time, or did you just get tired of doing the same old thing over and over again and living that way and having those thoughts and being in that mindset?
It was time. Um, the crazy thing is, I remember several times drinking and driving home with one eye open and one eye closed.
Lord have mercy.
Like, not even knowing how I got home.
Mm-hmm.
And it still wasn't enough.
Wow.
So as I started building a relationship with God, a personal relationship, I started growing and understanding who I was.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know whose I was.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I looked at myself as the person, how the person treated me. So I didn't know I was beautiful. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I was smart.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any of this. I just knew what people told me and how I was treated.
Okay.
So once I built a relationship with God, I knew I wasn't an accident because he
Mm-hmm.
said, I knew you before I formed you.
Mm-hmm.
You're here because I want you to be here. You're here on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You have gifts, you have talents that I need you to use to help the world.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I didn't want my kids' mother to die. I knew I had purpose. I gravitated to broken people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even my daughter's best friends, any problems, any situations, they would come to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew it's like you got to get it together. God gave you a gift and he needs you to use the gift.
Mm-hmm.
You're not here for you. You're not here for you. You're here to serve,
Ooh.
serve, serve, serve. That's
Serve,
what you're
serve,
here to do.
serve. Yeah.
Serve, serve, serve. And now that I'm understanding the Bible, now that I'm understanding that God is my daddy, that he wanted me here. It doesn't matter how I got here. It's that he wanted me here and I'm here and I need to do his will
Right.
because there are people who need me.
Mm.
There are people who have one foot in, one foot out. There are people who are not strong enough. There are people who have tried to kill themselves. There are people that are hanging in there. There are people that have lost hope. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who want to give up. There are people who have given their children up. There are people who don't want to live anymore.
Mm.
And God has given me the strength. So why would I not? God has given me an amazing gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
I I want to be in my purpose. I love it. I love God and I love what he's doing with me. And when it comes to addiction, let me say this.
Mm-hmm. Now back up from
It
the
doesn't
screen
just
so we can see you. Back up. You getting close. You keep getting close. The more you talk, the more you get excited. You start getting closer and
I
closer.
think I get excited, so I
I
keep
know.
stepping up.
Sit back in the seat.
So addiction doesn't go away.
Right.
It does not go away. You learn how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even with my sex addiction, when I used to had to have sex, if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have sex with me, that meant you didn't love me.
Mm.
So I was in a relationship years ago where the question came up because it wasn't to be a sexual relationship like that, like what
Mm-hmm.
I was used to when I was in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
previous relationships, I'm sorry. So he made me understand that it's not always about that. I don't love you because of your sex. I love
Mm-hmm.
you because of who you are. And that relationship taught me. So I'm so grateful for that person.
Is that the good guy? Is that
Um,
the chapter, The Good Guy? Is that the
no,
good
it's
guy?
not the good
No,
guy.
that's not the good
No.
guy. I'm sorry. That's not the good guy. You got it twisted, Irving. That's not the good guy.
Yeah. Hold on,
Yeah,
Irving.
there's
That's
a
not the
chapter
good
called
guy.
The Good Guy. Yeah, but that's not the good
But
guy.
people are in your life for a reason. And when I'm in a
That's right.
relationship, I'd like to grow from it, regardless if it
Mm-hmm. Of
ends or
course.
not.
Right.
So he taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I carried that. And I don't have to have sex with
Mm-hmm.
you to feel good or make myself think that I'm a better person because you
Mm-hmm.
have sex with me. I'm a great person. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
amazing person. I do not have to give that part of me away anymore
Mm-hmm.
to feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty deep for me.
But you know
So
what?
that
But you know
relationship,
what? You know how many women struggle with that?
mhm,
They have that same interpretation perception of themselves, that they feel as though the same thing. If a guy doesn't have sex with them, then they're not pretty, or they're not worthy of being loved, or they're not, they don't have a purpose, or they're nothing. They equate that with sex and end up putting themselves in some very serious, trying, difficult, consequential situations with men. And it's not true. It's not true. We are all special in God's eyes. And it's a great thing when you're released from the bondage of that shadow of that not, it's not knowledge, but it's a lie, I should say. And you come into the truth and the knowledge of who God is and who you are in Christ. Man, it's just, and sometimes you don't know that you're in bondage, or I should say most of the time, you don't know you're in bondage until you're set free.
Exactly.
You didn't know that you weren't seeing life right until you could see. And some of us walk through life thinking that we're seeing life correctly. But no, we don't see life correctly until the blinders come off and we get the truth, and then we can see. We're like, dang, now I can see. But I thought I could see before. And sometimes it takes a long time, but to God be the glory, because all of us have different things in our lives that we deal with, where we've got to get the truth, and the truth, like the Bible says, will set you free. But go ahead. I'm not trying to preach your story. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's almost 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Let me back up from the camera.
Yeah, back up from the camera.
So every day you have to get up. Every day you have to get up and you have to try. I mean, the devil knows how to get you. He's deceitful. He still reminds me of things of my past, and it's still hard. But every day I try. Every day I get up and put my best foot forward. And I know who's with me. See, before, I didn't really know who was with me.
Right.
But I know who is with me. I know no matter what it looks like or no matter what I'm going through, he still loves me.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So that's how I continue. Is to just trust God. I trust God. I truly trust God, and one day at a time. One day at a time for me.
So y'all, again, I went through all the chapters earlier for those of you who just came on. Maurice Clayton, I see you. Richard Melton. Oh, Pastor Baker is in the house. Vincent Capriati is in the house. Good to see y'all. Thanks for your support today. Stuart Winrow still in the house. Derek Wilson still in the house. Keenan Harmon, Hope Fryar, or Hope Wiley, that's my sister. James Halls, Jimmy Halls III is still in the house, y'all. Thank y'all for supporting today. Listen, again, this is Angel Gaddis. She is the new author of The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. I think many of us can fit ourselves into the pages of this book and we wouldn't have to try hard to do it. The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. See, there's the book right there. There's the cover right there. Listen, I'm encouraging all of you to go to Amazon and either place in the search Angel Gaddis, this will come up, or type in The Innocence of a Guilty Victim. This will come up. Purchase this book for this young lady, not for her, but for you. For you, because there's some stuff in there. There's some experiences in there. There's some knowledge in there. There's revelation in this book that will help you, though you may think you're further down the road than most of us, and you may think you got it going on and everything's good in your life. Stop. That's a setup right there. You setting yourself up to come down. We can always learn from, look, the Bible says in Revelation, we overcome by the testimony. That's how we overcome. When we have to test, we have a testimony. The last chapter in the book, Angel, and I know you got to go. The last chapter in the book is called,
I got the book right here.
Yep, it's called Mindfulness. Yes, mindfulness. you are, I'm going to give you the platform. You are the the motivational speaker that you're aspiring to be. I'm going to give you the screen and give the people your message. What it is you want to say to those you'll be standing in front of, the thousands that you'll be standing in front of in the future. And it won't just be women. It'll be women and daughters, mothers and daughters, male and female, that'll be in the room while you're speaking. Give them your message.
So you spoke on chapter 10, mindfulness, and you have to create a new mindset. I guess the saying, old keys don't unlock new doors.
Woo!
So you have to reprogram yourself. To be better, you can't operate how you used to. Your old self is not going to work with the new. So I've had to create a new mindset, and it is hard. It is hard. Even walking on my spiritual journey every day, it's hard. Why? Because it's work. It is work. It's not something you pick up this book, put it down today, pick it up tomorrow. Every day it's work. And the devil's job, like I said before, is to deceive us. So we have to be mindful of that and be aware of whose child we are or children we are. So I have created a positive space for myself. I don't really have any friends like that anymore, which was very uncomfortable for me because I'm the life of the party. I'm an extrovert. I like to have a good time, but where I'm going, everybody can't go.
Woo!
You
Say it
may
again,
disappoint.
girl.
Where I am going, everybody can't go.
Yeah.
And that's mindset. You have to know that. Everybody can't go where you're going. You're going to drop off some people, maybe a 30-year friendship, maybe family, maybe friends. Maybe even there may be a season where you and your kids don't talk. And it's unfortunate sometimes, but sometimes God has to remove us and put us in a quiet place to get our attention.
Yeah.
So, just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a work in progress, so I can't tell you, well, this is going to work this way because everybody's different.
Right.
But you have to reprogram yourself. You can't operate off the same program. You have to have a personal relationship with God. You have to trust God. You have to read your Bible. You have to understand where he comes from. You have to know who he is. You have to be okay with him taking away and removing. You have to be okay with losing everything. Because he is going to give you even more. You have to be okay with not even knowing why you're in a situation, why you're there. You have to be okay with him being quiet when you ask, because he's preparing. He's preparing. He's building you. He's getting ready to shift you. So sometimes you have to stay in the waiting room. Don't get out of it. Just stay there and trust him. Have faith and know that he created you with purpose. Know that my favorite scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. I have plans for you, plans for I'm getting all tongue tied
Be in
now.
good health and prosper.
I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited.
I got you. Plans for you to be in
I
good
plan
health and
to
for you to
give you
prosper.
hope and a future.
And
Yes,
a future, yeah.
hope and a future. So you're not here just to be here.
Right. Yeah.
You wouldn't be here if God didn't want you here. So
But you have you have that mindfulness now. And now I'm understanding what, because I haven't read the chapter, I haven't read the book, but now I'm understanding what you're saying in terms of mindfulness. Yeah, we have to be mindful of the presence of God in our lives on a constant
Right,
basis. And that way,
right.
when things are taken away, when things don't happen the right way or the way we want, or when we pray and he's quiet, we are mindful of the fact that he is in control. We're mindful of the fact that he's the one who's sovereign. We're mindful of the fact that we are his children and that all things work together
Exactly.
for our good. And like you said, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten, and you always be where you've always been,
Yep.
which is either an addict, addict to sex, addict to drugs, lonely, messed up, away from God, no relationships, can't get it right. They'll call you can't get right because you're doing it. And then that's sanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the results to be different. That's why the Bible says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed, like you said, by the renewing of your
Of your
mind. Yeah, renewing of your mind. You got to get it right up here. I think it was, who was it, Lauryn Hill? If you're not right within, how you gonna win
Oh yeah.
when you're not
If
right
you're
within?
not right within.
I love when she said that. How you gonna win
Yes.
when you're not right within? Good God, she was
And I think
preaching
that's
in the album.
where I got tired because it was like, and I talk about it in my book, doing the same thing over and over and
Hmm.
over, getting the same results.
Yep.
Same results. And don't get me wrong, it's so scary. It was I'm certain parts of my life I've been scared, like, oh my God, I gotta let this go, or oh my God, I can't do this anymore. But I'm tired of the same results.
Hmm.
Why don't I want what God wants for me? It's beyond what I'm doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
He's giving me more.
Hmm.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I have to be crazy not to want what God has for me.
And he does what's best.
Exactly.
I've lost in these last few years of my life, not my last few, about the last 8 years of my life. I lost a lot of people in my life. But you know what? I'm good. Matter of
Right.
fact, I'm better. I'm better. And when I was going through it, dealing with it, man, I couldn't understand it. It was hard. It almost
Yes.
crushed. It literally almost crushed me because I was always a person who, and I said I was past tense, was always a person who cared what other people thought.
Yes.
I was always a
Yes.
people pleaser. Not anymore. I'm a God pleaser now. And you would have thought that I was a God pleaser then. I was, but I also included people. When
Right.
I'll have no other gods before me. That's what he says. He comes first. He's the first and
That's
only.
right.
Well, listen, I know you got to go. Everybody who's watching right now, listen, you got to go and get this book. Let me put it up here again on the screen. You got to go and get this book. Go to Amazon. The Innocence. I mean, just the title in itself is intriguing. The title in itself is enticing. The Innocence of a Guilty Victim by Angel Gaddis. Go get this book from Amazon. Again, you can type in Angel Gaddis or you can type in the title of the book and read it. Read it, get it, and read. I know we don't read like we used to read, y'all, but reading is kind of a lost art now. We want to get, we want to get what they call those books, the audio book. We want to get the audio book and have somebody read it
Yeah.
to us while we're driving down the road. No,
Right.
get the book, sit down, read it yourself, concentrate, take a moment, get
Take-
by yourself, block the distractions out, and read the book. What are you going to say?
yeah. And it's only 75 pages. So it's not even that long. It's not that long. So
Not that long at
it's
all. Yeah.
no.
So, Angel, thank you. Now,
Thank you
when you could become a bestseller, and I reach out to
in
you
Jesus'
and to have
name.
you back on the show, don't act like you don't know me. Don't be trying to big time me when you make it.
I think I might be too busy at that time.
Oh, see, y'all see how she doing me? She doing it already. She gonna be too busy to answer my call. My God. Okay, I got you. Okay, I'm gonna have to come down to Texas. You're in Texas, right? You still in Texas?
I am in Texas.
Okay,
Yes,
had to come
Dallas,
down to
Texas.
Texas. My mom was watching. My mom said, "I want the book." That's my mom.
Yes,
She's watching. Okay, Mama, I'll get you the book.
please. And everybody who gets the book, please give me feedback. You can reach me at itsbroken2024 at Gmail. You can reach me on Facebook. Instagram, my name, it'll come right up. I also have an author page, but I want feedback. Again, this is my first book that I've written. This is actually the first time I'm speaking, doing public speaking today with
Yay.
Urban.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate the opportunity for you allowing me to tell my story. My goal is to save our youth
Mm-hmm. Nice.
and to be a light and to help those who have lost hope.
Nice.
I
And
want to
and
be
and you
that
know what?
outlet. I want to be
That
that outlet.
that's not a handful of people. That's a lot of people.
It
That's a whole
is.
lot of people. I don't know. Hope is asking the question. My sister Hope is asking the question. And listen, I meant to tell you all this earlier. I said it earlier, but most of you weren't on at that point. If you have a question, real quick, if you have a question for Angel, please throw a Q up, semicolon, and ask your question, and we'll address it real quick before we let her go. But Hope wants to know, does Angel live in Dallas? I know she's in Texas. I don't know if
Yeah.
she's in Dallas. You're in Dallas? Okay. I know
Yes.
it's Plano is where the church is, and it's just outside
Yes.
Dallas.
I've
But
been
Hope,
Plano.
but Hope is still down there. My sister Hope is still down there.
Okay.
Pastor Baker says, God bless Angel. Thanks, Pastor Fryar, for having her on tonight. Yep.
Thank
We try
you.
to listen, we try to have our goal here at the Fryar Place. Let me get my camera straight. Focus on my face. There you go. Thank you. It starts focusing. If I move, it'll catch the mic and start focusing on the mic rather than my face. We the objective here is to talk to people, not just celebrities or sports figures, but everyday people, because it doesn't matter what we do for a living. We all have ups, we all have downs, we all have challenges. The challenges of life and the victories that follow, the triumphs that follow these challenges. And these conversations are fire. They are fire. Why? Because they warm us, they heat us, they create in us that the excitement and the ability and the want to fight through our issues, to fight through our challenges. Why? Because if I heard or hear someone else going through the same thing I'm going through, then man, if they can get through it, then guess what? I have the wherewithal and should have the wherewithal to be able to do the same thing, to make my way, press
Right.
my way, fight my way through the same issue. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because the truth is, yeah, God doesn't give us more than we can handle. And when he does, he handles it. Anything that's over
Right.
our heads or above us, he's got that. It's not our job to
Right.
do that. God does it. That's why they call it miracles. That's why they call it wonders. That's why they call it the miraculous. That's why they call it the supernatural, because that's where he
Right.
operates. That's where he operates. We just operate in the natural. So anybody have any questions? I don't see any questions. Nobody's asking any questions. So again, tell them where they can find you on social media. Say it slow. I would have put it up there in the comments real quick, but tell them where they can find you again on social media.
So I am on Facebook at Arthur Angel Gaddis.
Okay.
Also Facebook Angel Gaddis. And I'm on Instagram, Angel Gaddis.
Okay.
And then I have the Gmail. It's broken 2024 at gmail.com.
Oh, that's easy. It's broken 2024 at gmail.com. It's broken 2024 at gmail.com. All right. Well, girl, listen, I'm going to set an appointed time aside in the future because I know things you're about to blow up. No, you're about to blow up. This book's going to blow up. You're going to be on that national platform as you desire, because God has shown you that vision. You're going to be in front of you're going to be in front of thousands of people, inspiring them, equipping them, enabling them, informing them, bringing revelation to their life, inspiration to their life. That's what you're going to be doing. It's already in you. It's already done. You see it. I can see it. And it's just a matter of catching up to it right now. That's all.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time. So when that happens, and it's going to happen, which will be by this time next year, that's what I'm going to say. By this time next year, it'll be the off season. So I'm going to need some content. I'm going to have you back on the show. And don't be trying to big willie me when I call you. All right. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to big willie me.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. You say, y'all, she don't sound too convincing, does she, y'all? She like, yeah, right, Negro.
I got you.
Don't
I
look.
got you.
My sister Hope is down there in Texas. I'm gonna send her to get you.
Don't listen to him, Hope.
No, she gonna listen. Hope will listen. So, Angel, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you
We
so much.
had you on. Thank you for coming on today. Great message. And we're gonna have you back on in the future.
Okay.
Sure enough. All
Thank
right.
you so much. I
All right.
appreciate you.
All righty.
Everybody take care. Thank
Okay.
you. Go get my book.
Go get the book. All right, girl. Thank you.
All right. Have a good
All right.
one. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep, y'all, that's Angel Gaddis. She's in the house, or was in the house. We thank God for his saving power. The story, her trials, her tests, all the things she's had to overcome. Man, I think a lot of us in different ways maybe, but we've all had experiences in our lives where it was dark. It was dark. We didn't even know it was dark until the light showed up, until Christ showed up, until the truth showed up. And we were brought out of darkness into the marvelous light. And when that happens, there's something that takes place on the inside of us, a stirring and unsettledness that takes place on the inside of us that won't allow us to sit still, that won't allow us to be quiet, that won't allow us just to take up space and suck up air and do nothing. We have to get it out of us. We have to tell our story. And that's God's spirit in us moving, letting us know that someone needs to know, that someone needs our help, the story needs to be told. And we have the ability to tell that story. Why? Not because somebody told us, not because we read about it, but guess what? Because we lived it. And it's our testimony. We've gone through the tests. And we have a testimony. So shout out to all of you. Maurice Clayton, shout out to you. Pastor Baker, shout out to you. Stu Winrow, God bless you, man. You got family in Dallas. Okay, God bless you. God bless you, man. I used to live in Plano for a while. That's when I got a chance to know Pastor Terry. She was talking about, she's like a spiritual niece. But she was in the church down there when I was down there. She was obviously a little girl at the time. But we've all grown up. I've grown old and she's grown up. Mama, good to see you. Hope, good to see you too always. Richard Melton, shout out to you. Vincent Capriati, shout out to you. Derek Wilson, shout out to you, brother. Stu, I said Stu. Who else? Keenan Harmon, shout out to you. Jimmy Halls, shout out to you. Y'all, we'll be back next week. Next week, we will be in live, not in the studio here at the Fryar Place, but we'll be at the Cigar Code. 939 North Delaware Avenue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. From 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 7 p.m. We'll be there with a live audience, and we will have our live guest next Friday from 6 to 7. Our live guest will be none other than Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is a former Philadelphia Eagles player too, and he is a current ESPN football analyst. Yes, he is. None other than my brother, Barrett Brooks. Yes, Barrett Brooks. He will be in the house next week. Live audience, live guest, the Cigar Code, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. next Friday. That's April the 5th at the Fryar Place, where the conversations are fire. I'm trying to say all this stuff and run it through my head and say it at the same time. But at the Fryar Place, yeah, where the conversations are fire. We'll be there next week, same time, in the place. Hope to see you there. All right? Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. See y'all then. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week.